in the graveyard there at the Haunted Mansion in Disney World. If you look at the pet cemetery that they have there, in the very back is a tombstone with Mr. Toad standing on top of it.
Huh.
From where because they tore down Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and put up the Winnie the Pooh ride. They put a tombstone for Mr. Toad there in the Haunted
Oh, wow.
Mansion.
I'm sure it's completely different from. It was years and years ago when I went, it's probably.
It's still got the Thurl Ravencroft and Paul Frees in it, so it's all good as long as you got those two in the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah, and actually Mike does tell me that the ride itself has changed. Like the ghosts that appear in the cart with you,
Yeah.
that are hologram, they changed them. Like there's something. He said they now have more of like a digital look to them.
Yeah, it's more digital, where it used to look more like just like, the animatronic puppets that would ride with you. Now it's more like a CG effect, and they can take your head and switch it with the passenger, so like a face swap thing. So yeah, that part's a lot different, and then there's a few other points, but it still has all the good animatronic-y goodness that we've all love.
See, I think there's a way to do a haunted house like that just on atmosphere alone. I don't like the jump scares. I think that's easy. I could go startle somebody on the street, and it's the same effect as a jump scare in a haunted house. I think you could even do just an empty haunted house and just leave clues as to something horrible happened as you go room to room and discover something more horrific in each room you get into, and like more evidence, and then maybe a big payoff at the end. Which would, I think that would be a scarier haunted house than to have a guy in a Jason mask and a chainsaw jump out of a closet at you.
Oh, I just remembered one. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in London. I was at that like probably 10 years like 11 years I think ago, and it was they had this really cool like boat that you get in, and there's like a lot of classic stuff. Like you're in the woods. It's like and then there's like villagers with torches, and you kind of see like these little lights appearing like over this hill, and it's just lights, just a light effect, but it looks like a bunch of torches coming over the hill. And it's sort of like they just took one classic horror scene and another and another, and you just go from room to room. And that I thought was done really well.
Yeah, something like that would be really cool. That sounds cooler than your typical haunted house kind of thing.
Yeah. One of the things, which I think I was thinking about, it was kind of funny. The last time you were on, James, we had talked about what you would have liked to see in a Castlevania movie. And as we know, we've got Castlevania on Netflix. I know you did your video on it. But what I just want to talk about that right now, the 4 episodes of Castlevania, because I thought it was hilarious that we had talked about what we would like to see in it, and then all of a sudden we get one.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you think about it?
I guess the main things from the video, because like I guess one of the reasons I do videos, it's kind of like writing notes. Like you write down things so you don't forget. Now that there exists a video, like, but I do remember the main things. I think it was that they had no Castlevania music in it.
True.
There was I overall I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But I think it was like missing a lot of things that I would have liked to have seen in it. Yeah, that's about it, really. When
I watched it, I enjoyed it. I thought the first episode of kind of the setup with Dracula, finding out that for years he was living a good life with his wife, but because of that, it's almost like the Joker saying one bad day. All you need is one bad day, and you become the villain. And Dracula had that one his wife is burned at the stake, no remorse, and all of a sudden he's like, well, screw you, I'm killing everybody.
Well, they greenlit a second season of that, right? There's more episodes of that coming.
There's because you can't just. I always said you couldn't leave us with just 4, because before I started watching it, and before I knew it, it came up with, it was over. I'm like, wait a minute, they got Alucard and Sypha. Where's Grant? We haven't got Grant yet.
Yeah. Are they doing more than 4 this time, or are they just 4 more, or are they gonna do a complete season?
I'm hoping for a full season, because you got to get Grant in there. You got to have more Alucard background, interaction with him and his dad. I did like the way they portrayed Trevor, though. I thought it was real good that they went with Trevor first, kind of lay the Belmont line down before we, because then maybe they can go on to the other Belmonts and go on to Simon, and then later on keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. I would have loved some Castlevania music, and I think once again, it's kind of like they only gave us 4 episodes. If they gave us
Yeah,
more,
but it's on a high note. Like it definitely, by the end of it, you're like, oh, I'm ready to see more.
that fight between him and Alucard was pretty. I thought that was really good,
Hmm.
and Warren Ellis, who we know Warren Ellis from comic books, is such a fantastic writer. So yeah, I think he'll really pull it out later on in the series.
Hmm.
You do so many videos a year. I just love watching them. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of your other videos that you've done over the past year, just to just so if anybody has not seen it, they can go check it out. First and foremost, the new way you've been doing the AVGN episodes. With
Hmm.
watching the Sonic 06 episode, and that the nerd is in the Sonic game. You're jumping over the railing in the Sonic game. Or even the set you built for the episode you did with Keith with all the
Oh
different
yeah.
peripherals. Are they taking? And we know over the last couple of years, the nerd episodes have become kind of special. It's not an every week or every month thing. When they come out, it feels special. It feels like
Hmm.
we're finally getting another one. How much longer has it been taking you to make these videos now that you're adding in so many different effects and screen effects and things like that?
Um, it really depends on the video. Like some are simple, and then some are complicated. And usually I tend to make it more complicated for myself because I feel like if I'm gonna do one, I want it to be good. I want
Hmm.
it to be special. So I'm always trying something different. Those ones take a really long time. And I mean, in life, it's harder to do them now. It's just
Yeah.
harder with 2 kids now, to do the videos. But there's a lot coming up, though. We actually have like more coming up than expected because um, because I had a kind of a confusing schedule where before my new kid was born this year, just a month ago. um,
Congratulations on that, by the
oh,
way.
thank you. Yeah.
Major
Congratulations.
congratulations, man.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, I was really preparing a lot for like what's going to come next, and um, we were kind of all talking about doing like a 12 days of Shitsmas again, but I don't think that's going to happen now because I don't think we're like kind of just overstressing to try to do 12. But now I think we ended up with just like a bunch of videos that are coming out. That so instead of it all coming out on Christmas, I think we might scatter them more. So a lot of stuff's been pre-shot, and you might be seeing a lot more coming up this this season, like from now till the end of the year. And the one I'm looking forward to the most right now is the Halloween one because I always do something for
Uh-huh.
Halloween.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah.
Did you get your did you? I'm just sorry you didn't get your Treasure Master money.
Oh yeah.
That phone number.
Yeah. That was just some of those things like, all right, how do you end this video? How do you make this? How do you close this up? And that it was a more simple video, that one, but that's your classic AVGN right there.
It is, and I thought it was funny
Yeah.
because it's kind of like going back to like when you did the Who Framed Roger Rabbit episode, calling the
Mhm.
number in the Roger Rabbit video game, and it goes to
Yeah.
a sex hotline. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
So I tried that at the time. I had no idea.
everybody tried that. Me and my friends tried it. Later on in life. So that I thought that was great. And Chief's really been digging your music series that I think you said you just ended.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I did a batch of them. Like it's basically 16 videos, 15, and then there's a Halloween themed one. Um, but yeah, those were all pre-recorded. You know,
Yeah, I just really like what you've done with the whole thing. I like how you spread it out more with the movie reviews and the AVG and stuff, and spread everything out and are covering a lot more stuff now. And I think that's not that my opinion matters, but I think that's the way to go. I mean, it's spreading out into different genres, and not just being specifically this is just AVG and the things and the other video game related stuff. I think it's really cool that you're spreading out into music and the movies and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot, man.
oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, that's awesome.
And especially with the second channel with Mike, who's probably still, hopefully he's beaten that B boss on Cuphead already. Watching things with
Good luck,
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, good luck, Mike. I'm always on the chat. with Mike on there, watching him play the games, and especially those ones where you guys have you'll do a James and Mike Monday, and then he'll immediately go and play the full game of what you guys did. I especially love like the Rocketeer that you guys just did on James and Mike. The other
I like Mike's Star Trek talk too.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to just sit down and talk with Mike about Star Trek sometime, because I too am a huge Star Trek fan. So
we got a taste of it when he was on a few months ago. We got a little taste of it.
We talked a little Trek when we talked to him. But.
Yeah, nice.
So of course with the new addition to the family, you're saying time, and I fully understand that with time, but you still are doing so much great stuff there with everything that you got on Cinemassacre, and some of the things I guess fans are loving the most, of course, is that, like Chief said, that you're branching out to the music and things like that. Are we going to be seeing more like book reviews, like we talked about last time with like the Oz books? You're going to do more book reviews and things like that in the future?
Yeah, that was another cool one. I forgot about that one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, when I did all that. So like hopefully more later. I think it's always just like the hardest thing is just to be able to do it all at the same time. So it's always like, okay, now I'm doing my music stuff. Now I'm doing my, my book stuff, and like it's always kind of like you get into one thing and then you do like a big, a big like marathon of it all in one, to get a whole bunch of videos that you could start scattering out, and then trying to get back to then like nerd and having it where it's like one day there's something game related, then the other day there's movie, and then there's music. Like this is the first time I think we ever got that going for like this year, for like where there's like every subject is sort of happening at the same time.
Right.
So I was glad we got to do that. I mean, the music ones ran out, but hopefully I can do some more sometime.
I'm interested to see, because usually every time we have you on, we ask a couple questions, we talk, and then something like, I remember I was like, when you were on, we were like, when's the next time you're going to work with the Nostalgia Critic? And then like the week later, you were on with the Nostalgia Critic of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or what do you think about, what would you like to see in Castlevania? Then we get a Castlevania movie. It's always interesting. And then, of course, this time we did Gargoyles, you did Gargoyles. It's always so fun
cool.
to see that.
Yeah, we'll hear next week there's a brand new Gargoyles movie coming out.
Yeah.
High budget remake of Gargoyles.
Wow.
and I did love the TMNT2 review that you, Andre, and the Black Nerd and Doug did. I thought that was fantastic.
Oh,
And,
cool.
I think
yeah.
you guys really hit all the feelings that we got what we've always wanted, but it was not really what we always wanted.
Yeah, it makes you feel like an ass. You're like, okay, you gave it to us, but
it's not the same.
It's like, we're gonna give you real chick. It's like, yeah, you want real chicken, here's real chicken, but then it's more like a chicken byproduct.
It's a monkey's paw, man. It's like beware you wish for.
Yeah, it's like, well, you know what? Krang finally did appear in a film, and Bebop and Rocksteady and all that, and like, it only took them 20 years, 25 years?
Yeah. And then we only get one fight scene between Bebop, Rocksteady, and the Turtles. But what a hell of a fight scene with the tank and everything. What a hell of a fight scene. And
they got Green Arrow, Casey Jones.
I really, that was the only part I'm kind of like, I kind of miss Elias Koteas from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie as Casey Jones, because I really enjoyed the original Casey Jones. Steve Amell, great actor, but it just didn't feel Casey to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my issue with it. It's kind of like the same now with the Transformers films. It's kind of like, stop, just.
Yeah. Do you think the nostalgia, like people really act, like they really think they want this? Like, oh yeah, I really want this cartoon. I really want this He-Man cartoon. And then made it to a movie, and then they get it, and then they hate it. It's like, should people just calm down and not want to? Just enjoy it the way it was back in like 1980, whatever. Just enjoy it. Enjoy that version. Let's not remake it into this horrible thing.
I think I have like a vision in my head of what Transformers like could be as a live action film. So I always feel like it could be done, but it's just a shame that. I mean, the problem I have with it is like that they're still going with it. It's like, okay, it was fine. You did that. And it's like, that's one way to do it. But usually after 3 movies, they always reboot it. They get another director, they get a whole other team, and they try like a different angle. I'd like to see a different angle at this point instead of it just